All right, y'all, another bad day. Well, actually it was yesterday that was bad. You can see the seats up and I'm looking at this carpet, so most of you kind of know what that might mean. Yep, I think my fuel pump went out. So right now, as you know, to flip the seats forward, which you just pull a latch and flip all the way forward. I had to move that cover out the way. I didn't move all my stuff I keep in the trunk out the way yet. I get to use my cordless Delco. Bought this off Amazon for about 150 bucks, I think. I get to put it to use. It look like these are T45, because I'm gonna have to take those 4 screws out because the carpet goes underneath there. So I gotta take these handles out the way, which actually lock the seats in place on both sides, so I can lift the carpet all the way up and get an idea of what the fuel pump look like. I'm gonna run a test to the relay. I'm gonna show that next, and that is to see if I'm actually getting power to it. I'm gonna make power go to it and see if I hear it cutting on. If it's cutting on and I'm not getting no pressure up front, then yeah, it's the fuel pump. And you're in this video, you're going to see how to remove a fuel pump and install a new one, which is a lot of work on these vehicles. The fuel filters are ridiculous. They connect to the fuel pump inside the tank. When you see this, it's going to be like, OMG. But save yourself a lot of money, because I guarantee if you go to any one of these shops, they want $800 to $1,000 to do it on this type of vehicle, not including the part. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust these on loose. Mike can do it holding the phone. You can see how this Delco impact work, which will kind of, I guess, kind of be like a review video also. Let's tighten it up. I need to loosen it. This thing comes with 2 batteries too. Always suggest keeping one on. If you don't have one of these and you're a mechanic, get one. All right, now that's loose. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the carpet up and be back in a minute. Just a real quick break. Another thing I didn't say you were gonna have to do is pop this pillar up. As you can see, I just popped it up. And then I took this other little black piece off that goes here. This carpet is very fragile. I pulled up on that side and it's like that hard foamy stuff, and it kind of tore the carpet a little bit, but it only tore it in the spot where the seat covers it, so it's not as bad. That's just a quick video that you do have to hook those pillars, where they just kind of press and snap in place. So you just lift up on the bottom of it, the area right there, and it'll pop up. You don't have to take it all the way off, just enough to get the piece of the carpet from up under it. All right, that was a quick short break. All right, just like that, I'm back. Another good tip, as you can see, because this is kind of heavy and in a way, and you don't want to get aggravated by trying to hold this crap up. So I just grabbed what I had in the car, some bungee cords or anything. I had some speaker wire in here, so I just tied it to there, tied it to here to hold this side up, so I can access that. Now look at that. And I know you're saying, oh, it's 2 of them. This is actually where the fuel pump is. That is actually where the fuel filter is. Now, a common problem after doing my research that I found out on these vehicles is that the wire harness on this fuel pump kind of goes bad or melts out. I mean, because my car was honestly running perfectly fine, and then it just stopped. So I want to pull this cover off, which is just 4 screws and a 10mm, to access that and see if that is badly or damaged. And then I'm gonna start checking to make sure I'm getting power to it. So those are the next steps, and I'll get back to the video after I take those 4 screws out. All right, I'm at the next step, which was pretty much locating the fuel pump fuse. As you can see, it's under the timing, under the engine compartment. Here's the diagram for it. You can see the fuel, that's for the relay. You see that 25 amp? That is for the fuse. I checked the 25 amp, which is there. It looked good, and this is the relay. So I'm going to jump the relay to a 12-volt power supply and see if I get any humming sound from my fuel pump, and we'll get to the next step. All right. Now this is how I wired mine up, just to make sure I'm getting, this is a full 12-volt power supply, constant 12-volt, which I should have been able to get it from here. You should be able to jump it like this. The one with the slot, the different way slot, well, the one with the middle slot is usually always your power. So this typically would be power all the time. You can check it with a test light. So sticking it in there like that is pretty much jumping it. Right across from it is usually the switched power, what you're trying to send power to. The one to the right is usually ground. The one to the left of that middle slot is usually switched power. So with it like this, I should hear the fuel pump running, and I don't hear anything, which will lead me to believe that chances is fuel pump has went out. So we will start the breakdown of that tomorrow. Peace. All right, now I finally unplugged the plug. As you can see, I stripped wires excuse me, to test this plug. I disconnected the line down in there. I just kind of pushed it down in there, and ain't nothing but these squeeze tabs. As you can see it, squeeze them, pull it out. I use this, a small vice grip, some needle nose. Needle nose will do it too. Next is to take this ring off with a hammer, twist it out. When I get to that, let's get back to it. All right, I'm back. And as you can see, well, behind the driver's seat is actually the filter. The other port that's over there is to just an access port, really. But as you can see, this fuel pump is crazy. Because as you can see, it's way down in the tank. And it would do this shit right when I filled up my gas tank. Bananas. And then this come over here to the filter. Then you got wires that snap it to the fuel tank on the other side, which I'm gonna show in a later video. My fuel filter haven't came, but this brown, black shit coming all out of that. So I was hoping that somebody before me had replaced that, but I guess they did not. So means I'm going to have to replace it, which means, yes, and that shit is kind of deep, that all the way up to my fucking elbow is going to be covered in gasoline. So I'm going to be highly flammable. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube with a video of this. So I wasn't even going to post it because I wanted to just get straight to working. But I'm going to go ahead and post this, man, because this is crazy. Look, you can see it. That is way down in the gas tank. And I got a full tank of gas. The fuel pump would go out right when I fill my tank up. I was empty, I filled it up, and my fuel pump went out. And I did the test on it, which I sprayed starting fluid down in the motor, fired right up. So I know the computer doing what it's supposed to do. I know the ignition switch doing what it's supposed to do. I know I switched around relays and checked the fuses. But I wanted to get to this point and show what needed to be done. I'm assuming that shit snap in or something like that down there. But yeah, I'm going to have to stick my hand way down in there, finesse that out, completely out of the gas tank. This is the most craziest design fuel pump I've ever done in my life. And I've been working on cars for probably about 20 years. This is crazy. So I got to get my hand all the way down in there on this side. Then I got to go to the other side and dig my hand all the way down in there and hope that shit come out easy. And I'm almost guaranteeing it's not. But let's let the process begin, because I got the fuel pump, so I might as well do this part of it. So then when my fuel filter comes, a big stupid filter, I'm gonna show you that too. When that does come, this the in-tank filter. Then they got a filter underneath the truck too. It's crazy. When that comes, I can just add that and be done with it. Because it is like super clogged up. I'm assuming it's been clogged up for a while, and that's probably why the pump went out. But we're gonna go ahead and get to it. I'm just gonna pull that out. I want to say I'm hoping it just kind of click into place down there. Hopefully I ain't gotta do nothing crazy to get it out. I'm gonna look at the new fuel pump to make sure, and then I'm gonna show you the other side in a minute. All right, I managed to get them out. What you want to check for is making sure it looks. You can see my arm is. I mean, I had to go all the way to my elbow to get that thing out. Like I say, mine full of gas. But what you want to check for is to make sure everything is pretty much the same. I got this one off of Amazon. It's called an 8 made by 8 Premium. Hopefully it lasts a while because these pumps ain't no joke. But it's probably the original pump. But they had an extra zip tie holding all of them together, so I had to separate them. So I'm gonna put a zip tie on this part so that it can go. These are the wires that go to the actual filter, and this is what actually powers it. This go to the other side, and it just kind of snap into the tank, fit in there somehow, because you can't really see it. You just feeling it with your hand trying to pry it out. So I got to make sure that when it go back in place, because of course that's another float. It actually reads inside the tank. This got 2 floats on it, as you can see. There's one on the pump itself, and watch how it sits in the tank. Like this one, I believe sat like sideways. So you want everything to go back exactly the way that it came out before you pulled it out. And I'm pretty sure I kind of just gripped on this. It looked like it's supposed to, these tabs right here, it's what, like you squeeze on these tabs and you pull this out inside the tank. You can't see it, so I can put no camera in there. You just gotta feel it, squeeze it and pull this out, and this whole assembly comes out. This kind of keeps tension on it. Because if it ain't in there right, your shit won't read how much gas in the car, and both of them have to read properly. Was it a challenge? Yeah, but honestly, I got it out in about 10 minutes, the full assembly. The challenge is getting to it and being able to feel your way around. Now, here's the filter. And you can you see how that's coming out? It's black. That's what was pumping up to my damn motor. So I gotta replace the filter. And these are all the lines you gotta disconnect on there. You disconnect this little white line, which is little, on this yellow line right here, this plastic line goes to. Can you see that? Yup. Which this line, you squeeze the tab and it pops out. It sits in there like that. You pull this tab back, you push it back, and then you squeeze the 2 tabs on the sides and pop that out. This just snap in place, which is of course by this. It snap in place, but it's the same setup. You squeeze both the tabs and you pull that out. It's not that difficult. And this you see is big as hell, so this just snap on, and that snaps on to the bottom of this piece right here. So you got that big piece, this piece right here with this. You got the black line that goes to that, to this, and that's it as far as the filter go. Oh, it takes a plug too. I'm gonna show you on the old one. I didn't get this plug off, so I just disconnect, which is the ground. So I just disconnected it from here on the filter itself. It got a little slot on the bottom of the silver piece right here. You can see that. That right there, that's what it grounds to. So before I put the whole assembly in there, I gotta take this loose and snap that piece on there, because that's what goes on there. You see my hands ashy, like I said, all the way to my elbows, because fuel pump went out when I had a full tank of gas in here. Completely sucks. And then you can't really see down in the fuel tank. Now the most difficult part of this whole process was getting these things off. And this is what holds down the filter and the ring screw into this. And as you can see, I tried prying on it. I wasn't 100% sure how to get it off. I would assume it's on specialty tool, or this shit just old, because it look like you just pry this up, this little tab right there, and once you get one side off, you can finesse the other side off, but I couldn't get it. So I either got to see about buying some of these new, or just putting it in there, screwing it on, and hope that it hold. Because compressed, theoretically, it should hold. Theoretically. Or I can just super glue the shit out of it if I can't buy them by the time my filter comes, because my filter don't come to Saturday. So I'm just setting up. Today is Wednesday, so I'm just setting my fuel pump down in there. I'm gonna close it back up so that nothing wastes down in my gas tank, because like I said, I just put new gas in there. It is an inline filter underneath the car, I believe, on these. Seeing how bad that filter in the tank was clogged up, I'm gonna go ahead and replace that, which I should get better gas mileage how clogged up that filter was. And it still has some stab, believe it or not. So, but that's probably what made the pump go bad. It was working too hard. But in any case, if anybody knows anything about how to get these things off without breaking them, let me know, because I couldn't even find a video on YouTube that even showed my style fuel pump. Most of them got 2004 style fuel pumps. So, and this was about, you know, anywhere between $750 and $1250 in labor. And it, you know, if I had the other piece, I'd probably say about 2 hours worth of labor, 2.5, maybe 3 hours doing it myself, breaking everything down. But the most hardest part was getting that ring off. The rest wasn't too bad. Even getting the pump out, I mean, yeah, I got gas all on my hands and stuff, but it wasn't hard getting it out. But I think the hard part is going to be going back in, because it has to kind of slip into a slot. So if it don't slip into that slot, it'll move around and your shit won't be reading right, and it just cause all kind of problems because you hit bumps and everything else. So you got to make sure it's locked into position. That's why I want to go ahead and get it out the way today, get the hard part done. A few more days, I got the weekend off, and I'll be able to get my filter, slap my filter in, because I can completely put the other side all the way back together. My filter just sit on this side. So it's the filter, and you go through here to access the fuel pump. You go through that access port over there to access that other extended part with another fuel level sensor on that side. So pray for me. All right, after about 45 minutes of struggling, trying to figure out how that thing goes back in there, I thought I'd throw in there some very key points. As you can see now, see it's down in there. One thing you want to pay attention to, for one, make sure them lines are not in the way of that handle. I'm gonna show you on the one that's out, but see that notch right there? See how it sits right in front of that notch? Definitely do not interfere, get them lines far away from that hanger assembly for the fuel level, because if you don't, you bend that up, you do anything crazy, it's not gonna read right? And we want our car to read the correct way. But see that notch down in there? Right there in the middle of the screen, that fuel pump is sitting right up against that notch. But it's a part on the top that has a slot in it, and I'm gonna show you that on the old one. You slide the top in that slot first, and then you lift up as much as you can and get it to slide in that hump. Now what I did is I started from just, well, in this picture, the left of that hump, well, in this video, the left of that hump, but in reality, it was the right of that hump. And I slid it in that notch, and then I lift the bottom up and slid it over until it went just in front of that notch. And you will feel it just kind of seat in place. It's almost like it's a specialty spot just designed just to fit the fuel pump. So once you feel it seat in place, then you know you pretty much got it in place. From there, you just wiggling it around and straighten it out. Because the fuel filter should be exactly like that. You will see, if you rewind this video from the old one, before I even took it out, you will see that it's sitting down in there like that. But you see that notch way in the back, it sits right in front of that notch. And the fuel level sits right there. So once you got it like that, you golden. And I'm gonna show you the top part that the notch fit in. But that took about 35 to 45 minutes for me to figure that out. I guess I should have paid more attention when I took it out, feeling around it, feeling the top of it. But before you take it out, feel the top, so you'll know exactly where this the groove handle goes back in at. That's very, very, very important when you're putting that back in. It'll save you a lot of time. It probably would have took at least 20 minutes off of my work time. And I've been out here for at least 35, 45 minutes just getting this side on. I haven't even got that other float assembly side on yet. But this was the rougher part because it's bulkier, it got all the lines to it. So once you get this side in, getting the other side in shouldn't be as bad because I think it just snap in place. But we'll see. But in any case, that's that. Oh, shoot. And make sure you cover this up because I think I got some drips and you see it might have left a little stain. I'm hoping that wipe up. If not, the seat does cover it, but I tuck it in that side and I just did wrap a towel around like that because you're going to waste gas. And surprisingly, I'm still getting ate up by these Texas bugs, even though I smell like nothing but straight gas. My hands feel all crazy. I'm about to wipe this off now. But this is what I wanted to show you. See this groove right here? Feel for that. This part of the handle is going to stick out to right there where my thumb is at, but this groove right here, it actually pushes down. That's why I got these springs. It collapses. That's what keeps tension on the pump and holds it in place, and it slides into a little slot. And that slot is, you'll feel it, it's like a little notch specially designed for that to hold it in place. It's a little slid in little notch, and as long as that other piece is in front of there, you good to go. But you push it down, slide it in that notch, let the tension build up on it, and then you grab it and you kind of move the bottom to be in front of that notch. And you will feel it seat in place. But once you do that, you good to go. It's in there. So now all I got to do is connect this side, which, like I say, this kind of just snapped into something. I got to look down in there again and see. And this may have a notch too, because that's why spring loaded like this. This sat down in there like that. And this holds tension on it. So I'm pretty sure if you feel something be a hole that this just slides right into. So I'm gonna slide that in there, pull it up, and then I'm gonna line this up to whatever notch it need to be lined up to. And this level faces towards the rear of the vehicle. So that's how it sits in there. I don't know if I got it on the video. If I did, you can rewind the video, but that's pretty much how it goes. And that's what holds it in place. The tension on this spring is actually what holds it in place. So feel for something that this slide up in, pull it all the way up, line it up, and let it go. And you see the bottom, it's like it all sets in a groove also. So let me clean off my hand and get to working on the other side in a minute. All right, YouTube, my part finally came. I'm gonna show you this right quick. So I finally can put this together. See if this thing will fire up. So you can see what it look. This is what it looks like. This is actually the fuel filter. It looks like it comes with a new ground, which is awesome. I'm gonna pop this out. Come with a line, a little plug inside the line. I'm gonna have to get that out. Gotta squeeze the tabs. Get that out while I'm not holding the phone. But I am ready. Move this out the way. You see, I got my lines hanging out. This is pretty much just these three. And this ground, but they got a new ground. So basically all I'm gonna do is hook all this stuff up, plug it in, push it down in there, because that's pretty much a really tight seal. Like I said, I'm trying to get those white hold downs off, end up cracking them. So I bought some super glue and let it sit for a while to glue them together. But that's on there so tight, it take a lot of force for me to pull that out. So the goal is to hook this up, the fuel filter, give it a little bit of a prime by turning the key back and forth a few times, go ahead and start in the vehicle. And then from there, I'm planning on getting it out from in front of my house, pull it in the backyard, and finish putting all this stuff together, which of course is the easy part. Main thing is making sure that this actually did solve my problem, which I used starting fluid to try to start it. It sucked because, like I said, I had a full tank of gas when it completely went out. I showed you in the other video all the dark stuff coming out of there. These things, the slots and stuff for these fuel pumps and stuff to sit in, can't nobody show a video of it inside the tank. So you couldn't see that video, but if you look down in there, I try to show it on both sides. Caution with that side over there with the leveler faces towards the back of the vehicle. Both of them do. And you kind of feel when they seated and they mounted. So that's not a difficult issue. You'll know, when it's in place, it won't move. Because shit start moving around, you hit a bump. If it's not locked down in place, then you're going to be right back doing all of this all over again. So those are the key things I think should be focused on. Also, on that side, like you got these notches, I'm going to show right quick. This is another kind of important thing, is how it's sitting in there. So see that the big fat white tab at the top, it's a notch on the top part, and it's a notch right there on the bottom part. And you will notice it when you take the ring off. So you got to kind of set these back in place exactly the way they come out. If you don't, that ring not gonna sit in the position it's supposed to sit in, and you're gonna have to keep pulling it in and out to keep trying to line it up. So that's kind of another important step. But in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on together, push it down in there, start it up, and let's see what we got. As you can see, my truck is finally back in my garage. Like I was saying before, these are the rings that had broken. You can see right there. I put some glue on there earlier today and try to let them both seal. This is the kind of glue I use, the JB Weld Super Weld Extreme. These actually sit down in there. These notches line up. The thicker notch lines towards the rear of the vehicle. The thinner notch lines towards the front of the vehicle. So that's an easy way not to forget which way they go. Just press down on there firmly. It kind of snap. You will hear it kind of snap in place, and then you twist that ring on there, and that's what locks everything in place. So, but it finally started up. Now I have to put everything back together, pretty much, because I wanted to get out of that sun. It's like 80 degrees today. I'm sweating hot. I wanted to get out that sun, get it back in my garage where I can put it back together. These foreign cars, you only getting a deal if you order your parts. So I would suggest owning a different car. As you can see, I got my Camaro over there. Weather been nice, so I've been driving it pretty much all week. We got rain coming up in a few days, so this is right on time. As you can see, the pump, well, it's not the pump. That's really just a cover for the other fuel level sensor. I didn't even check my fuel level gauge. I'm gonna start the truck right quick to see. I just kind of pushed them down in there with those seals, because them seals is like incredibly tight. Like, it take me a lot of force to pull that back out again. I got to push the other side down in there a little bit more. I just wanted to go ahead and drive it. You can see I got panels and all this stuff off. You got to take the whole cover off. I got to put this back together. I got to bolt the seats back down. I got a few things ahead of me, but all of that's pretty much the easy part. You can see this panel had to come off. You got to pull this panel loose. As you can see, all that stuff got to come off to be able to get that up there like that. And it's starting to sag because it's been so hot and the heat been stretching it. But I had to do what I had to do, right? And in the process of me running my test, I had to take this loose, the air cleaner housing, because I wanted to spray in there. You saw it's a new filter I replaced a while back. And I wanted to test fuses and stuff like that. All of that stuff is up under here. All of that stuff is in earlier videos, different things that I tested. For power, I wanted to make sure that if I'm gonna spend this money on a fuel pump, that it solves my problem. Once I took the fuel filter out, I saw the bad, the messed upness that it was. I need to pull out a little bit more. I can't get on that side. So that's where I'm at. That's the end of the fuel pump job. They go to YouTube channel if you catch me in traffic. But make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment to the video. I have not seen any video on YouTube this detailed with the Range Rover fuel pump replacement. Truck starts right up. I'm gonna check my fuel level. In fact, I'm gonna start it now, and let's see if the fuel level sensors are working properly. I have a full tank of gas, so it should read full. I do believe they are working properly. Oh, I messed up the camera, hold up. But let's check and see. I'm pretty sure my check engine lights want to be on too. See, the gauge went all the way over. So they read them properly. I filled it up the day before I was driving, so it may be down a little bit because I did drive it to work, drive it back, so on and so forth. I'm gonna clean, you see I only got 128 miles. I'm gonna clear to get that check engine light cleared. Let me pull it forward some more so I can get, open that back door. I know you hear all that noise. I need to replace my brakes and everything. Starts right up, you hear it running. I'm excited, I get to drive my truck again. Rain's coming, I need to get a full wash, the whole nine, because it smells like gas all up in here. But that was my issue, and that solved my problem. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment.